Diamond K in here, of course, the Diamond K Show on firebroadcasting.com, thediamondkshow.com. Attention, Elon Musk. Nobody voted for you. Nobody voted for you, Elon Musk. Nobody wants Elon Musk in the government. They didn't vote for him. But that is what Republicans are attempting to, just pull over the eyes of Americans. Yeah, nobody voted for him. Nobody wants him there from the public, the American voters. Nobody wants airplanes falling out of the sky. We don't want that. But after Elon Musk pushed out the head of the FAA and Donald Trump and his minions gutted the agency's safety board, and Elon Musk attempted to push the air traffic controllers to quit, the worst domestic airline disaster since 2001 occurred. Nobody voted for Elon Musk. Nobody in their right mind wants this guy, just and his flunkies just roaming around the Treasury Department's databases. In these databases are the private Social Security numbers, the Medicare data for all U.S. citizens. Nobody voted for Elon Musk. Nobody wants him to use the Treasury payment data to potentially gain an advantage over his competitors. Nobody voted for Elon Musk. And what I find so interesting, one of the many things, is, the country, the politicians, we're so concerned about a Chinese app having all of our data, but they're not concerned about a South African immigrant having all of our data and all of our Social Security numbers and access to all of our money. Nobody, that's cool. You're good with that? No. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because it does not make sense. Nobody voted for Elon Musk. And nobody wants him to use his newfound power to coerce South Africa into abandoning laws on black investment installed after the fall of apartheid. At least when it comes to his company, Starlink. Nobody voted for this clown. Oh, yes. And a clown he is. Of course, your man Diamond K in here, and we are talking about the fact that nobody voted for Elon Musk. Now, while most Americans don't understand how little we spend on foreign aid, less than 1% of the federal budget, even as an oligarch-friendly, corporation, few would really, deny the fact that we do need to help folks around the world. We do need to help folks around the world. Helping folks around the world with some of the things, it helps America. Right? With regards to food, with regards to health, with regards to the stability of some nations. Helping them helps us. in many of these instances. Now, can you find places where, money can be saved? Absolutely. Absolutely. And there is a way to do that. There's a way to do that. There is a way to, get a budget together. But nobody voted for Elon Musk. Nobody did. I don't think that even the average MAGA supporter, I don't think trusts Elon Musk. Now, the concept for DOGE was floated vaguely a few weeks before the election. Most people just laughed at the concept of DOGE. Most people ridiculed it. I mean, back then, they were saying that Vivek Ramaswamy was going to be involved. But maybe he didn't. Maybe he forgets that he's brown. And the Republicans don't really like him that much. I mean, most people don't like him that much. But none of them, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, had the faintest idea of how government spending works. Yeah, they've been successful in the private sector. But they didn't know how government spending actually worked. However, they promised to cut the budget by $2 trillion. Now, $2 trillion is an amount that actually exceeds the government's total discretionary spending in 2023. But they were going to cut all of that. They had no idea. What they said, the waste on federal grants, subsidies, and loans. I mean, it is something to see. These are the same programs that helped him build Tesla and SpaceX. The federal grants, the subsidies, the loans. He has used these very programs. The same programs that he used, he's now trying to cut. Nobody voted for Elon Musk. The federal workers that Elon Musk suspects are the woke deep state agents, most of them are either in the military or they're doctors or nurses for the Veterans Health Administration. Right? Nobody voted for him. He does not know what is going on. Elon Musk has been the beneficiary of the very things that he's trying to end. Put the X on it. So let's keep in mind that they're trying to cut jobs that will result in mass chaos and a political bloodbath that I don't think that the Republicans really want. Democrats, time to wake up. It's time to wake up. Republicans are overstepping. They're overreaching. Elon Musk may have got a kick out of his ability to fire all those folks at Twitter that he did. And he has effectively turned Twitter, called X now, into a janky site for his fanboys. But let's understand this. America is not a software company. Elon Musk is a thin-skinned, video game cheating, making the wrong hand gestures billionaire, trying to take over the machinery of the United States. Oh, did I say that nobody voted for Elon? Nobody voted for him. Now, Democrats in Congress are finally beginning to wake up. They're trying to make this point. Elizabeth Warren and others. My homie Jasmine Crockett and others. They're trying to make these points. However, the citizens of America must be full-throated in their response. Because none of us, not a single one of us, voted for Elon Musk. So he should not be allowed to just run through with his DOGE commission, gaining access to sensitive Treasury payment systems. Come on, y'all. Somebody got to say something. Somebody got to say something. And sadly, many folks are understanding finally that elections have consequences. Who you vote for does matter. Sitting on the couch and not participating in the election does not help you. Because everybody say, well, what is it for me? What's in it for me? We have different groups that say, what's in it for me? I'm telling you. Because I told a lot of you already. I told you so. A lot of these MAGA folks, a lot of these Latino, Spanish-speaking folks, a lot of black people, a lot of white people. You're going to start to see why you made the wrong choice in November. There's a lot of reasons we could get into, but my thing is that I told y'all. I told y'all. Anyway, so we got a lot of things to get into. We have a lot of things to get into. So the Trump administration, just a couple weeks in, not that much time has passed. Trump administration presented a plan. And this plan would dramatically cut staffing worldwide in the U.S. aid projects as part of dismantling the U.S. Agency for International Development. It's going to leave fewer than 300 workers out of thousands. The federal workforce would be glad to know this. A judge has blocked Trump's plan to push out federal employees by offering them some financial incentives. It's funny because I've seen some MAGA folks try to defend this craziness that Trump is attempting. Some, right? Because you got some minions, right? There are minions everywhere. You have minions everywhere. But what is very interesting right now, these MAGA diehards are actually starting to learn that their votes have consequences. Some Venezuelan MAGA diehards say that they feel betrayed. Some of these Venezuelans are slamming Trump for ending deportation protections. Many Venezuelans are feeling a sense of betrayal after the Trump administration ended their deportation protections. Oh, yeah. Some of them are going to be deported. Some of them are going to be deported. Now, I don't feel bad for them, right? I don't feel bad for them. They thought they were special? They thought that they could believe what Donald Trump was telling them? No. So, I don't feel bad for them at all. I don't feel bad for them at all. And it is what it is. You voted for him. This is what you said you wanted. He said he wasn't coming for us. and now he's coming for y'all too. He's coming for y'all too, trying to send y'all away. Back from whence you came. Or some of them, not all of them, many of them. And, I don't feel bad for them. But it's not only them. It's not only the Spanish-speaking Trump supporters. Not only them. Some of the white folks in Trump's base have started to question their allegiance to Trump. Now, and of course, all of y'all, some of these dummies are going to follow him to the end. Some of these Republicans, speaking of Republicans, Mitch McConnell fell twice yesterday, ended up leaving in a wheelchair. Came walking down the street and it was shuffling and ended up leaving in a wheelchair. Isn't that something? I don't feel bad for him either. But I mean, it is what it is. So just before Trump's buyout offer for federal workers was set to expire, and it was paused. They put a pause on it. Unions representing many of the country's 2.3 million federal workers charged that the administration's unprecedented offer violates the law. Now, many of those unions voted for Trump, right? Oh yes, you guys and gals are seeing that elections have consequences. All right, let me talk to the TikTok camera. Elections have consequences. All right. Now I'm going to talk to Instagram camera. Elections have consequences, and the YouTube camera. Elections have consequences. Folks are finding that out. Oh, and also many of these people, stupidly, sadly, believe the words of Donald Trump. On the campaign trail. Now, this judge that paused the Trump administration's deadline for more than 2 million federal employees to decide by the end of today whether to resign or stay in their jobs in order to allow time for labor unions to challenge the plan's legality. Y'all gotta understand, this is a temporary thing. This thing still could come back, even though it is illegal. It still could come back because we have a lawless, convicted felon in the office. We have that. We have a convicted felon in the office. So y'all got to know that the stuff that he's saying is not on the up and up. U.S. District Judge George O'Toole in Boston issued a temporary restraining order and set a hearing for Monday. So understand this, MAGA supporters, right? This is what you said you wanted. This is a temporary restraining order. This thing could still very well happen. Because at the end of the day, who's going to enforce anything? The court system doesn't have an army. Trump actually has the army. Who's going to make them? Who's going to make them? Because at the end of the day, he thinks that he has a mandate, which he doesn't, but he thinks that he does. Or he's acting like he does. The Trump administration's attorneys have argued that extending the deadline on the very last day would markedly disrupt the expectations of the federal workforce. There is a lot of uncertainty right now. scores and scores of federal employees have already alleviated themselves of and hindered the administration's efforts to reform the federal workforce. They're calling this a reformation. They are not trying to help the American people. They are not. Now, after the judge issued his order, White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt said that the administration was grateful for the extension so more federal workers who refuse to show up to the office can take the administration up on this very generous once-in-a-lifetime offer. It is not a generous offer. It is not. Unions representing many of the nation's federal workers charged that the new Republican administration's offer violates the law. This is nothing new. Let's keep in mind that when you voted for Donald Trump 2024, you voted for a convicted felon. So did you think that he was going to not commit crimes, especially having the Supreme Court in his back pocket? I mean, I don't even understand. Like, they fell for the scam, the con man. They fell for him. They let the New York slick talk fool them. They have let a fox in the hen house. And some of these hens is coming up missing. He's deporting the Spanish hens, the Mexican hens, getting ready to be the Venezuelan hens, and y'all acting surprised. I saw some of these Venezuelan women in the video crying. I don't care about what y'all say. This is what you wanted. I cannot wait until this thing unfolds a little bit more. Because I'm going to continue to shove y'all faces in it, you MAGA supporters. Federal employees were told that they would receive 8 months of pay and benefits through September if they resign by February 6th. Wait, Donald Trump told you that. You believe that? You believe that? Then you're probably dumber than the women that he married that thought that he was going to go by the vows that he said during the marriage ceremony. He's a liar. He's a convicted felon. You believe the federal employee? You believe this? No, of course not. You should not. You can if you want. Oh, and let me remind everybody, maybe you've forgotten. Maybe you've forgotten. But in March, the budget is up. Remember, they kicked the can down the road in December? They kicked it down the road till March. We're probably facing another government shutdown next month. Nobody's talking about that. It is coming. It is coming. Congress has not approved funding for federal agencies past March the 14th. Nobody's talking about that. The government is facing a potential shutdown in less than a month. Unions have warned workers considering Trump's offer that there's no guarantee that the president can or will stick to it. So let's say that you take his unlawful offer. Let's say that the courts shoot this and you quit. And then the judge, the courts rule this as unconstitutional, unlawful, but you've already quit. It goes through the appellate process, but you've quit. And then they say it's illegal, he can't do it, so he doesn't do it. Now you've quit. You're not going to get the money that you were promised, nothing, but you're gone. That potentially could happen. And so there's so many MAGA folks that are going to be affected. They thought that all this was going to be, well, some folks were going to be deported. And the Republicans were going to give it to the libs, right? That's what y'all thought. That's all y'all thought this was going to be. Many MAGA folks are going to find out and are finding out that it is much, much deeper than that. So these union workers, have got to understand that this offer that the convicted felon in chief has laid out, there's no guarantees here. The offer lacks basic information about whether they might still be required to work for the government, whether they can get a private sector job while still being paid by the federal government, how their pensions, health insurance, and other benefits and rights would be affected. None of that stuff is laid out. And then you're negotiating with a convicted felon who has been told by a court that he has in his back pocket that he can do whatever he wants. So why would you think that he, Donald Trump, is someone that can be trusted? Trusted with negotiations like this. Now, critics are saying that the administration's goal is to make working for the federal government so unpleasant that the employees will be driven out. And it seems like that is his goal. The administration said earlier this week that federal employees could be furloughed if they do not accept the buyout, and that the majority of the federal agencies will be downsized, with the Defense Department as the exception. A lot of folks are going to be and are currently in limbo. There's a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. Federal workers who stay in their jobs have been told that they must return to in-person work and embrace new performance standards and be reliable, loyal, and trustworthy in their work, among other new reforms across the government. Loyal. When they say loyal, they're talking about being loyal to Donald Trump. Not talking about being loyal to America. Not talking about being loyal to the Constitution. They're referring to loyalty to Donald Trump. If a Democrat was trying to kick this thing off like this, oh my goodness, y'all will be losing your minds. Losing your minds. According to reports, about 40,000 federal workers had accepted the offer as of this morning. That represents about 2% of the workforce, below a goal of 5% to 10%, which is what the White House was targeting. So we'll see how this goes. I hope it works out for you, Trump supporters. I do. But if it doesn't, I'm going to say I told you so. Because I did. I did tell you. And whatever happens, Trump's going to try to spin it. No, that's what he does. He tries to spin it. The trade war stuff, that's a mess. The trade war stuff is a mess. Things are already unraveling with this. So, Mexico, Canada, that has been delayed for, 30 days. And the China thing. The China thing is the one that is really interesting. China and Trump. They have such an interesting relationship. Interesting relationship. So, China has countered Trump's tariffs. Talks are in limbo. China has challenged Trump's tariffs, and they've challenged it at the WTO. Package shippers are in chaos right now. I'm seeing women online that order from, what's the place called? Shein? Temu? How you say it? Temu? Oh, yeah. These women are upset because they can't get their stuff. It's being held up. Women can't get their shoes and hair and whatever else they order. Clothes, I guess. China has filed a World Trade Organization complaint yesterday against Donald Trump and his new 10% tariff on Chinese imports and his cancellation of a duty-free exemption for low-value packages, arguing that the actions, break the WTO rules. So they're going to be going back and forth. Beijing's request for U.S. trade, consultations came as confusion among shippers and retailers over Trump's closure for package imports valued under $800. It's just causing, mass confusion. So this is something that's widely used by e-commerce firms, like I said, like Amazon, like Shein, like Temu. They normally use this, and Customs and Border Protection officials said that all small packages from China and Hong Kong need to have customs entries on file prior to arrival, and there was the potential for some cargo to be sent back without this paperwork. Mass confusion. Because here's the thing that Trump does. He just says stuff. He doesn't even think about it. Right? He doesn't even think about it. His handlers and his consultants, they'll say, here, say this, right? And he'll read some of it, and then he'll just go off and just start saying some other stuff without even thinking about what the consequences are, or would be, or could be. He just runs his mouth. So the WTO said that China submitted a request for consultations with the U.S. on these tariffs. China argues in the document that Trump's new duties aimed at halting the flow of fentanyl, opioids, and their precursor chemicals to the United States are imposed on the basis of unfounded and false allegations concerning China. So they're saying, we didn't do it. Oh yeah, ladies and guys, y'all stuff gonna be tied up for a minute unless they figure this out. Because a lot of folks, I'm seeing online, a lot of folks use Shein and Temu and of course Amazon. They use these things. However, these small packages valued under $800, a lot of these are being held up or sent back to the sender. This is a hot mess. This is a hot mess. Now, he's only been in office for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Have things gone down? Have the prices gone down? Because he said he was going to be able to get prices down immediately. He said he was going to end wars immediately. He said the price of eggs were going to go down immediately. He said that, right? Now, I knew he was lying, but he said it. And many of you who voted for him said you voted for him based on, because you knew he was a terrible person. You knew he was a felon. You knew he was a criminal. But you said you voted for him because he says he's going to do these things, and you believed him. And you didn't think that Kamala could do it. You said, Kamala's not telling us enough stuff. Although Trump wasn't telling you anything. And some of these folks said, I don't like Kamala's stance on Gaza. That's what you said. You said, I can't vote for Kamala because of her stance on Gaza. Oh, that's what he's saying. She's going to lose Michigan because there's all these, it was all that. It was all that. And then what happens? Donald Trump makes statements that are far worse than anything that Kamala Harris would say or do in reference to Gaza, or even Joe Biden for that matter. Nobody would say these or try to do these things that Trump has put out there. Trump's Gaza plan shocks the world. Shocks the world because it would it would cause a lot of problems. Now, of course, there's some right-wing folks in Israel. Oh, they loving it. They loving it. Because all they've ever wanted to do is take over that property, that land. Trump says that he plans to seek ownership of the Gaza Strip and move the population out. Did you hear what I said? This, of course, has enraged the Arab world. It stunned American allies and other global powers. I mean, even members of Trump's own party have been shocked at this. Now, in Israel, of course, they like, oh yeah, they feeling it. They feeling it. The idea of removing thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from Gaza to some other country, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I thought he was going to keep us out of wars. Do you know the type of conflict that would happen? The bullseye that it would put on the backs of servicemen and women, Americans. I mean, this would just cause irreparable harm. Irreparable harm. Now, the plan, it could not become a reality. It is saddled with so many obstacles. Not to mention the moral and legal and practical implications of something like that. Just the president merely saying it out loud, the most powerful person in the world, saying it out loud, has sparked a lot of different things. Enthusiasm from some in the Israeli right wingers. The fact that he's laid it on the table. The fact that he's laid it on the table, sadly, opens the door for such a crime, because that's what it is. It would be a crime to become legitimate. Needless to say, we have a convicted felon in the White House. So most of the things he's going to do are going to be criminal because he's been given the okay from the Supreme Court that everything he does is cool. And so here's where we are. This is how we got here. They have this joint press conference. Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, they shucking it up. It is, I don't know. It is something. For Palestinians, Trump's proclamation has triggered very painful memories of the expulsion or the flight from their homes in what is now Israel. In 1948, a war that led to its creation. Now, it has also resurfaced the trauma of the further displacement wrought by the 1967 Mideast War, when Israel occupied the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Decades and decades of fighting, and Donald Trump just recklessly says some of these things. He does not care about Americans. He doesn't care about the citizens of the world. He only cares about how he can make some money. Talking about that's like beachfront property and all that kind of stuff. The things that he says, he speaks like a criminal. He acts like a criminal. And then he empowers other people around him to also become criminals. And this is the person who is sitting in the White House. Oh, nothing good can come of this. Nothing good. Elon Musk's X is the least trusted big tech company, according to a survey. No surprise there, right? No surprise there. A lot of things going on. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show. Of course, onfirebroadcasting.com, thediamondkshow.com. Now, you have been hearing folks talking about this boycott of Target. And many folks in my community upset with Target because of the rollback of DEI initiatives. One thing that Republicans have done effectively is co-opt our words. They made woke a bad thing. Remember a couple years ago in the hip hop community, people would say stuff like, "Stay woke, brother." Right? Stay woke. The opposite of woke is sleep. Republicans are knocking people, agencies, businesses for being woke. Do you understand what they're saying? Don't be woke. We not a woke company. So you're a sleep company. You're asleep. You're not paying attention. Oh, Republicans want you to be asleep. Oh, it's much easier for Donald Trump and Elon Musk to pick your pockets if you are asleep and not woke, right? And then a lot of companies that say, yeah, we don't want to be woke anymore. But whatever you call it, whatever the word, the buzzword of the moment is, it does not change the facts. So whether we're talking about critical race theory, CRT, whether you're talking about Black Lives Matter, whether you're talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, whatever you're talking, civil rights, affirmative action, whatever you're talking about, you have folks who want to try to turn things back, hurt you, hold you back, because they think if you have opportunities, black people I'm talking about, we have opportunities, then somehow that hurts them. But it doesn't. This is the greed of some folks. The racism is clear and apparent. So activists have been calling for a nationwide boycott of Target stores, following their decision to roll back their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Now, when you start talking like this, immediately folks within the community, within the black community, will say, well, you want to boycott Target? What about all these other people, right? And so they immediately try to be divisive. Immediately, because they're like, no, don't come together as a people and try to do something, right? And so you got to ignore those folks, because those folks that are talking like that don't understand the big picture, big, planning, and how to effectively carry out a boycott, right? And so they probably were Trump supporters who just listen to and are used to folks just speaking without thinking, right? Because that's somebody talking without thinking. You have a plan of action, right? I love the story about the OG and the little guy, and he walked down. Let's get all of these things, and let's take our time. Let's run down the hill, get all the things. No, let's take our time, walk down, get them all, right? Of course, I'm paraphrasing, but the thing about it is taking your time and planning the action is going to be more successful than rushing into something without thought. So you're going to have these folks who don't understand, don't want to have a nationwide boycott of Target because they think that's not going to be effective. It's too hard. There are a lot of things that need to be tackled, but you got to start somewhere. And so I almost went into Target the other day. It would have been convenient for me to go in there, but then I thought about it and I said, the boycott. So there's a couple of boycotts. There's a boycott going on now, started February 1. There's another one that we're going to talk about in a second that starts in March. But the purposes are for the same reason. And my thing is that I personally think that Target's prices are too high. So I try not to even go in there. It's usually not convenient for me to go to Target anyway. I got to go out of my way to go to Target. And so I'm definitely not going to go out of my way to go to Target. So I was in the parking lot, I had to meet somebody in the parking lot. I'm in the parking lot of Target. I needed to get some things, but I decided to go to Giant. So I went to Giant instead of Target. No big deal, right? And I have no problem. I don't have to ever go to Target again. It wouldn't mean anything to me to not go to Target again. Now, the company, Target, announced last month that it was going to end its DEI goals. And they were previously set to increase Black employees' representation and advancement, improve Black shoppers' experiences, and promote Black-owned businesses. And so some folks in our community, the Black community, are saying, why would we boycott Target? This company set these goals. They set a goal that they wanted to, and listen, let me say this again. Here's what they said they wanted to do. They said that they wanted to increase Black employees' representation and advancement. They wanted to improve the Black shoppers' experiences, promote Black-owned businesses, and some folks in our community are saying, okay, they don't want to do that, so what? We do not value our votes in mass. We do not value our strength as consumers. We don't value anything. We go to every other nationality stores but our own. And that's why they can pull off something like this. And you'll have a big part of the community that will say, yeah, so what? We don't even care how we're treated. Constantly, for decades, Target has benefited from nearly unfettered support from residents in many cities across the country. In the past, Target was known for its diversity initiatives and reputation for supporting diverse communities. Now, Target has shown its true face by deciding to roll back its focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they're putting politics over the people. So, started in Target stores indefinitely starting February 1st. So, that has come and gone. I don't believe that it's a coincidence that Target made the decision after the shopping season, the holiday shopping season, and 1 week before Black History Month. Why didn't they do this during the Christmas time? Oh, no, you know they ain't want to do that. Oh, but Christmas is coming again. Christmas is coming again. And we're going to have folks that are not going to understand, value, or even care what the company that they patronize thinks of them. There was a time before I was born, but there was a time when we couldn't go in certain stores, right? And one of the big mistakes of the previous generation was this concept that we had to be included in these places. And that the fact that we were not able to go to these places somehow reflected poorly on us. So we were forced to have our own stores because otherwise we wouldn't be able to shop. But you had a very intense fight for equality. And then they started letting us come in stores. But they didn't change the way they felt about us. And they just said, we just want to get the money. We don't care about those people. And it's been that. And that's how it's been. And so we can get mistreated in some of these stores and people will still go back. But if you go to a black store, you're a black person and you're mistreated or things doesn't happen right, usually all it takes is one time and folks will cancel the black store. They're going to blast them on social media. They're going to not go there anymore because they have this mindset. But, you know, how many times have they screwed your order up at McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's? Did you stop going there? No. You kept going. You're still going. You might be in the drive-thru right now. But if a black store messes up, it don't take one time. And you can be talking about them crazy on social media. I see it. We got to change a lot of things. Tabitha Brown, who sells kitchenware and has had her products highlighted in Target stores under this diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative, said in an IG video that she understands the anger. She said that she wanted folks to reconsider the boycott because she's like, don't hurt me. I feel you. But the boycott is here. And while all black folks are not going to participate in the boycott, maybe not immediately, maybe over time, but the dirt on Target's name is going to continue. And, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Some folks are going to participate. Some folks are not. This boycott could last for, I don't know, the rest of the year. It could last longer. It could be shorter. But there is not a lot of unity. You're absolutely right. It's not a lot of unity. But it's got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So it takes time. Everything takes time. So you have that. And there is also another boycott. And this one, you can find out information about that at, I believe it's targetfast.org. Let's see. .org. Okay, yes. Targetfast.org. Targetfast.org. And we're going to bring that up in a minute. So anyway, if you go to this, targetfast.org, they will explain, it explains some of the backgrounds and the history of boycotts by black Americans in this country. Targetfast.org. Targetfast.org. And boycotts can be effective. Now, in order for a boycott to be effective, you've got to set up, one, your demands. What are you asking for? What do you want? And, you know, so I think that's like one of the main things. So with this boycott, that the information is at targetfast.org. They go over and they list some of the demands. So one they have is to honor the $2 billion pledge to the black business community through products, services, and black media buys. That's demand number one. There are four. Number two, deposit $2 million amongst any of our 23 black banks. Number three, completely restoring the franchise commitment to DEI. 4, pipeline community centers at 10 HBCUs to teach retail business at every level. And so that is what the demands are. And Jamal Bryant gave a sermon where he touched on this. And I thought it was interesting. And I thought it was inspiring. I liked it, actually. But targetfast.org is the website. And if you want to be a part of the movement and sign the pledge, you do that. They're going to ask you for your name, your email address, your phone number, and they said that they will send you this list of 300,000 black businesses that you can support in lieu of the Target, corporation. So I did that, and I've gone to the site and I have seen, some of the businesses that they are, making folks aware of. And I think that it is a good thing. Let me see if we got this right. All right. Targetfast.org. That's the website. Targetfast.org, as in you are fasting from Target. All right. You're fasting from Target. All right. Let's see what it says. After Joe Supreme Court. I agree with that. And so we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. The Target fast, whether that is a good thing. I believe that it is. And we're going to talk about that more in depth. Now, some people don't like to change habits. They just don't like to. They just don't like it. They don't like to change habits. Some people. But sometimes habits have a way of forcing change. Canada ripped up a $68 million contract that they were in the process of entering into with Elon Musk's Starlink over the Trump tariffs. That's interesting. Maryland lawmakers are proposing bills to combat the rising energy costs. That's something that's needed here in Maryland. Donald Trump says that he wants Ukraine's rare earth elements as a condition of further support. Oh, yes. He's going to say and do anything. He does not care about the people at all. And that is clear and that is obvious. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok at The Diamond K Show. Of course, onfirebroadcasting.com, thediamondkshow.com. I will be back here tomorrow with another edition of the show. Need to get in touch with me, djdiamondk@gmail.com.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe at youtube.com/DJDiamondK.